Everything I've ever done in my life of any significance or transformation has come from a place of ignorance. If knowledge is power, then perhaps it is when we are powerless that we are transformed. With access to Google in my back pocket and this obsession in the world with knowledge, it's only when we admit that we don't know that we really see true enlightenment. The definition of ignorance is lacking in knowledge or training, unlearned, uninformed. I've spent most of my spiritual life and spiritual journey looking, seeking, trying. I read the Bible over and over. I went to Bible college and majored in theology. Christianity has this way of making you think you can know all the things. America has this way of making you think you can know all the things. You can't know all the things. I would argue that this idea that we can know so much is ignorance too. And perhaps the recognition of not knowing is true awareness. I'm done trying. I don't need to do, I need to just be. I'm making space to look critically at what I don't know, to be okay in it. I don't need to go, I need to stop. I'm pretty terrible at stopping. But when I do, that's where I find the transformation. That's where I find the magic. At 13, I didn't know who I was because 13, but I wanted to. I was at the beginning of some kind of quest that would literally take me all over the world. I knew that my best friend Rachel was off to Christian camp for school vacation, and she wanted me to go with her. There are cute boys there, she said. That was convincing enough for me, because we had already dated through the small pool of cute boys in our Catholic school. I was one of those gays who had to date through all the middle school boys before I realized the never enough part of dating a boy is they aren't girls. At camp, I found Jesus and a super cute counselor named Jackie who introduced me to her. Jesus became the answer to all my questions. I went straight in, all the way, like I do every single time, despite my parents' concerns. Christianity offered me questions and answers, knowledge, power, everything I needed to know myself, to find myself, and to know God, or so I thought. I ended up a missionary in India. There I was confronted with poverty, an unjust caste system, the effects of colonialism, and more beauty than I had ever encountered in my life. For the first time in my life, knowledge wasn't going to save me, awareness would. These kids in an orphanage in Calcutta didn't care what I thought about Calvinism. The women in Mother Teresa's Home for the Dying, they needed me to comb lice out of their hair, not panic about the epistemology of ignorance. So I played with the children. I gave them stickers, and I loved them with all I had. I touched faces gently and combed lice out of hair. I learned about kindness. I learned about myself and the world and everything that matters. And, oh God, what am I even doing through this not knowing, through this just being? India broke me wide open, like beauty does. I didn't come out as gay until I was 22. I didn't grow up around any kind of queer community. I just always knew I was different, but had no idea why. When my best friend came out to me in college, I spent the next year researching why being gay is wrong. That's what detachment looks like sometimes. I knew I believed that being gay was wrong, but I needed to know why. The problem is, the more I researched, the more questions I asked, the more that research just didn't seem to matter at all. The more I recognized I just didn't want to be a person who believed that homosexuality was some kind of abomination. When I looked at what the Bible was really saying, it started to feel like the church was just getting it so wrong. And if the church is getting this so wrong and doing so much harm in the process, what else are they getting wrong? Everything just broke wide open before me. Then I met a girl. She was a humanist, a dancer. I came out to my church, and they immediately revoked my membership. Coming out broke me wide open, like holding love and loss in the same hand. I always knew I wanted to be a parent. I just didn't know I'd be a queer parent. I didn't know I'd end up divorced from my kid's other mom, and I'd be navigating co-parenting and custody like I am. But I am. These aren't the kinds of things you can plan for and research and try to figure out. She's 6 now. We've spent a lot of time researching, discussing, and figuring out the facts about quicksand. You should ask her. She'll tell you all about it. Sometimes knowing all you can about something can calm anxiety. Knowing is like that. But in that, I think we get confused because so much is not like quicksand at all. And while I should Google all the facts about quicksand to help my terrified daughter after she watched the swamp scene in The Princess Bride, I don't need to be a parent with all the answers. I don't have to know everything when she asks. When she asks me, why did that bad guy kill all those people in Charleston? I want to just reach for my phone and Google 20 different ways to talk to your children about Charleston. Because what if I don't get it right? What if I say the wrong thing? But I don't. I just sit with her. I listen. I ask her what she knows. I ask her how she feels. She tells me she thinks that the people who lived were brave. I agree with her. Then she goes on to tell me what she remembers about the Boston Marathon and the Back Bay fire. Because when we take this time to just be transformed in our ignorance and not know and sit together in that, that's when we're transformed. Riley Elizabeth broke me wide open, like kids do. I didn't know I was gay until college. It wasn't even until I found my gay community that I realized I don't really fit there either. That's a huge problem with trying to fit in when you don't. See, I don't fit in the binary. Male or female doesn't really work for me. Lesbian or transgender doesn't really work either. In a lot of ways, this stuff is just language. In a lot of ways, language is everything. Language defines our identities even when we don't want it to. Even when we can't stop it, it just goes on like it does, right? And, sometimes we have to stop. Sometimes we just have to be ourselves and just be me. My daughter sees me as just me, the way that I saw myself when I was a little kid. I didn't know about binary or the patriarchy yet. I know all about it now. But I knew who I was, and I knew I was just me, that I was just Casey. And to my daughter, I'm just mommy. I'm neutral. I'm right in the middle. When we play king and queen, she tells me I'm the neutral king because I'm not a boy. She's right. I'm not a boy. But I've never felt like a girl either. I am right in the middle. I am just me. I don't know what that means. I don't have to. 6-year-olds don't care a whole lot about the layers and implications of gendered language. They see people first, language second. I'm learning to look critically at this in-between space of knowing and not knowing, of male and female, of parent and person, of all the things I carry and all the things I've let go of. I'm finding myself in this transformative space. I'm finding magic and purpose in my own ignorance. I'm finding love and more questions than answers. I'm learning to accept this unknown, this ignorance, as this transformative space where nothing is lost, everything is broken, everything is found. That's exactly where I want to be. That's exactly where I am.